I'm just trying to work out how boring I can be this week, see if I can beat last week for boringness. I've probably got more things on film this week. Whether we can count those as interesting is another matter entirely. This week, for those of you bridge watching with me, the bridge was much easier. The traffic had died down and we got across it first thing. So we didn't even have to wait the 10, 15 minutes. Which was, of course, made a big difference to me getting across and getting back to Bulgaria by 10 instead of midnight. So that was quite nice. And what else? Well, the tiling still isn't done. It's nearly done. There was nearly a divorce on Friday night because the tiling wasn't done, but it was 2/3 of the way done. If we'd had couched it in those words, it may have been less of a massive argument. And it's nearly done. Hopefully it'll be done in the next day or two. Because Chris is determined he wants to do it himself because he said it's his mess. And there is one section of it that is Chris's mess. But I think it's more a mess because the house isn't straight because it's a Bulgarian house. Anyway, we're nearly there. The light switches and sockets and everything are going on today, so the puppies won't chew through any more wires. And I think Josef was going this afternoon to do that. Tiling's nearly done. Once tiling's done, I'm going to paint. Couldn't paint round the tiler this weekend. And then it's just those last few bits and bobs outside and it's done. So within a couple of weeks, I keep saying this every week. I keep saying 2 more weeks, it'll be done. I think it was about 8 weeks ago I first said that. Wishful thinking. But we are so close to being done. I can't imagine how it won't get done in the next couple of weeks. Oh my God, it's exhausting though. And then I keep looking at that patio and thinking, is that ever going to get tiled? Or is it just going to sit like that forever? So because I couldn't paint, I went and did the weekly shop and all, and then stopped off in the hardware shop. We were there for about 3 years waiting for buying a light fitting that they didn't actually have. They just had a display of it. Got home, absolute joy, proper bacon in Lidl for British Week. Managed to snag a packet of that. So that was nice. There's none left. I've just been to Lidl and it's all gone. And I don't need to buy cheddar because they already sell cheddar here. So I just did some gardening, which was physically extremely hard work, actually. I'm just so fat now that everything feels like a struggle. So I've got to lose some weight. I've got to stop eating so many chicken nuggets and so much cheese. Got to look after myself a bit better. So I cleared one section, took all the sunflowers down, cleared one bed, and then the next day did another bed, but left some flowers in the middle because I don't know what they are, but the bees love them. So, I'm all about bees. And then came back again. And that's really it. So I haven't got anything. I'm even more boring than usual. I do apologise, but I can spell it, which is a massive bonus. We've got a massive water bill to pay because we haven't paid any water for 2 years. So Chris has been and paid that. And I really do. I think that's it. The puppies continue to run around. Lola, the smallest one of the lot, who we took on because she was the runt, she's got small dog syndrome. She keeps snapping at all the other dogs, trying to be big boss dog. And for some reason, all the other dogs are scared of her, where, Ellie could quite cheerfully take her head off if she wanted to, but she doesn't. She just looks at her. And Mandy is a big flolloping delight, but she's a bit of a mystery to me because she wags her tail like crazy when she sees you. And if you go and give her a big love, she just stands there with her tail between her legs like, why are you doing that? Sad, really. And, and there was a puppy in the village. We did pull over and I did try and entice it into the car but it was having none of it. But I did see the nice lady who lives on the main road who feeds all the animals. They all kind of sneak into an empty property just over from her. She was in there on Sunday feeding them, so that was a relief. So it is being looked after. I'm not sure what's worse, if it's on its own or if there's 6 of them, because if there's 6 of them, that's really bad. But, if it's on its own, then it hasn't got 5 friends. Usually someone dumps a box of them rather than just one. But we'll see. I'll keep my eye out for it again. Chris was like, you can't bring another one home. I'm not leaving the poor thing. But it wouldn't come anyway. Yeah, and that's it. Oh, the big news. I drove for 3.5 years. I've been saying I can't drive on the wrong side of the road. It turns out I can drive on the right side of the road. It's dead easy. And so now I've actually taken the plunge. The next job is we're going to look for a little car for me, because then A, I've got my independence, and B, if Chris is in Bulgaria, I don't have to get all those buses. I can just drive. The scary thing being, of course, getting out of Bucharest, because it's terrifying here. And the fact that I want a little red car, a little red hybrid. And the only 2 little red hybrids I found, one was way out of our price range, and the second one is 6 hours away near the border of Moldova. So unless they can deliver that to me, I won't be getting that one either. So yeah, on the lookout for a little red hybrid, if anyone sees one in good condition. I live in a wealthy area, can't go around having a too crappy a car because people will judge me. Also, I've given my car parking space away to a nice man who lives downstairs for his son, so I might have to ask for it back if I get a car. Could be embarrassing. Anyway, that's it. I'll throw it together, see what you think. Enjoy. There's nothing exciting. I am the most boring person on YouTube. So peace out. Wishing you a very happy Saturday from my still unfinished extension. So Chris has had one of those weeks. He has painted the ceiling so that, dogs, so that it won't drip all over the tiles once they're down. We have a temporary light switch because Joseph is out of the country. So we have temporary light in here. And he's put this PVA, is that what it's called? Pink stuff, all over the walls on the advice of Tim, because that stops the plaster drifting everywhere and makes it easier to paint. You don't have to put 10 coats on it, although there is a risk of cracking. However, I cannot help but notice that we're going to have a hard time here because there's already muck all over it. So probably best we did the tiling first. However, he had a bad time with the tiles and had to take a load up, so that has slowed him down. So we're about halfway there. I have had a wobbler. We had a massive ding-dong about it, and apparently it's going to get done this weekend. So after that, I can start looking at nice things, like curtains for it so it's not so echoey, and some furniture. Hello, puppy. Hello, puppy. Last night, we were driving through the village very late at night, coming home, and we stopped for what we thought was a cat, and it wasn't. It was a little ginger puppy, not a little bit smaller than these two, but clearly a lot younger. Anyway, we stopped the car, we got out, we tried to get to it, but it just ran into an old, derelict garden. So I left it some food, but I'm going to go and look for it again this morning because it is way too young to be out looking after itself. Anywho, today and this weekend, my job is... Oh, he's broken a tile. My job is going to be gardening. The grapes are ready, and I think Plamon's going to come for them, I hope, because it would be awful if they went to waste. There's so many of them. This is one of those, oh my God, where does it come from moments. So I've bought loads and loads of bulbs, tulips, narcissus, that sort of thing. And last night when we got back, even though it was 1 a.m, I started seeing what I could pull out from here. So I already have a little pile down here. I need to get the clippers out. The sunflowers I think we need to declare done. And let me just show you. Do you remember when I cut all this stuff down about 4 or 5 weeks ago and it took me half the day and it was a really difficult job? Well, there it is again. So those are just coming from old tree stumps. So that's all going to have to come down today, all that greenery. God knows where this came from, because I swear it wasn't there last week. But there's also these little trees growing in the bloody grass as well. So I need to do a lot of gardening in here today. That's going to be my job, clearing. The size of that sunflower, it must be 11, 12 feet tall, that. And that's what I want to do. And as you can hear, the village is awake and the village is strimming. So I need to get on the same wagon. We also need to go get some dog food. And Miro, who we get our dog food from, is at the seaside at the moment. So we need to go somewhere else to get some dog food. And we need to get a bit of shopping in. And I want to have a look and ask Chris if any of our chainsaw blades are actually sharp, our chainsaw chains, because I could do with starting maybe some wood chopping, because we need to start getting our very, very empty woodshed filled up for the winter. At the moment, this behemoth that we call the extension is taking up all of the time that should be being used to tidy gardens, finish the tiling here, to chop wood, to get winter ready. All of that stuff, it's just not happening because of the extension. So I'm sick of it now. I don't even like it anymore because I'm so angry with it for taking so much time, and I just want it over and done with. Right, that's bad trees on this side down. I've thrown them over that side so you can see them propped up on the fence. Rose bush is trimmed down. All the sunflowers are up. So now at least I can see what kind of carnage I'm working with here in terms of the vine stuff that creeps over all the fence. Not sure. Still don't know whether that's a weed or a flower. It looks like a flower. If it's a weed, it's a very pretty one. If anyone can advise. That's a plum tree that we cut down that just won't give up. Around the corner there's a mulberry tree that just won't give up over the water thing as well. That, if it is a weed, it's growing over there as well. So I'm going to go into the village for a coffee, see everyone, say hello, and then I'm going to come back and start tackling this mess, because it's it's a lot of work. So this is clear as well. This won't be as bad. This is just back-breaking hoeing. I'm not sure about the bit by the house, whether that can be hoed or whether it needs to be dug over or even rotavated. Who knows? But I'm working single-handed. My machine man, my strimmer and rotavator, is busy elsewhere. Right, the plan was to do some planting, but I've just not got far enough. So Bella wants to play now. Also, it's nearly tea time and I can't get in the house because of Chris's tiling work. So this is done. Sunflowers down, weeds pulled out, creeper chopped back and hoed over. And then obviously this is not done yet, but I can't do that much. Rubbish pile over here, waiting for a bonfire. So you can see the reason I've not done as many areas as I would like is because there's quite a lot just there. And then I've got halfway down here. So I've managed, I'm having to hoe this quite violently, like a pickaxe. So I've still got this to do. And this over here is done, but it needs picking up. But honestly, I'm jiggered. I think I'm getting old. I'm really fat as well, which makes it hard to do lots of sustained exercise. I keep looking over at next door and thinking how nice that barn roof looks, you know, the flat roof, and how I'd like to just lie down there and have a nap. I did try and lie down here and have a nap, but all the dogs climbed on me, so that didn't work. I'm going to go and see if Chris will let me in the back door so I can feed the dogs. Well, just like I say, once the grout's in, we'll never notice. It'll be fine. And we'll put a rug over there. Got to be honest, darling, keeping it real.
I'll see it on the camera.
It looks marvellous, darling. This is the funniest thing, though. The rest of it is so nicely done. It'll look great with some grout. And then you've got this absolute abomination. And the only thing I can think is it is because the walls of the house are... Oh, God, don't. No. Let's just get it done, babe. I think it must be just because the walls of the house aren't straight.
No, it's not that wide. I go all this way, like. That's good. It's only that wide.
Yeah.
So it only just from that line just come out. I'll go get this. Show you.
Yeah, that'll be absolutely fine. And then we'll never know. Nobody needs to know. We never need to discuss it. Obviously, 400 random people on the internet might see it, but nobody else. Trying again from this end, slightly further away from the annoying barky Bulgarian dogs. So I've cleared this. I've left this bit in the middle because the bees are all over it, and if the bees love it, I'm all about that. And I think it is a flower. It's got lovely little yellow flowers on it. It looks almost like a succulent. So I've left that patch. And the patch by the annoying barky dogs is detached. It just needs moving into the rubbish pile. So that's ready for planting, but I'm not going to have time to do it now because I need to go and get washed up and get my bus. There's the rubbish pile. I'll plant next week.
It's this driving.
It's only taken me 3.5 years to get to this point where I'm brave enough to do it. It's keeping an eye out for other people falling walnuts and potholes that's the challenge rather than actually driving. Look at me driving on a main road. Right, oh dear God, which way am I filming? If you can hear me over the barking. Right, this is no longer attached, all this stuff, it just needs moving over to the pile. This section in the middle, I've got a feeling I'm leaving it because, for God's sake, dogs,